Hello, everybody. So it's Friday. That means this is the Friday support call. I'm Stephen Carlson, and our host is Christoph Klauke. And I'm happy to report that Christoph is healthy because he recently had well, I was a bit shocked to see your photo actually when you sent it to me because you had some kind of a neck operation, I understand, with
Yes,
vertebrae.
yes.
But now you're looking a lot better, I should say. I see a lot of good color in your cheeks, and and Christoph also told me he was releasing non-stop. Well, that's a good introduction. So at this point, I'm just going to give
Oh,
you the call and thank you so much for hosting,
thank you, Stephen.
Christoph. Okay.
Hi, everybody. So, yes, I'm ready for the call, as you can see. So, we already have one hand. Bobby's grateful. You may want to speak up, Bobby.
Oh, hello, and Stephen and the community and Christoph, thank you so much. Yeah, it really touched my heart knowing that you got through your procedure and also just those words of constantly, releasing, identifying with who we really are, the space in and which around the experience appears, very inspiring. And it's a gain. It's a gain to be here together. I always feel more vulnerable and honest in group energy. Um, and I like it. Um, what's been up for me and continues to be up is
Okay.
just relationships and family, just
Yes.
feeling well, 93-year-old story time, 93-year-old dad lives with us and have a lot of help, aides coming and going. And I just get full. I get full of being house manager. I get full of a lot of times just, you know, to be honest, putting others first. So anyway, Bobby wants to feel freer about that.
So, what's the now feeling? What's the now emotion?
Clutchy in the chest, guilt.
Okay.
Guilt begets guilt. Hell.
Okay. Could you allow the chest to appear as clutchy as it does?
Thank you, Christoph. Yes.
And what did I hear? Was there a guilt feeling as well?
Yeah, guilty for just not being all loving. I'm just like, I'm cranky.
And then could you feel guilty for a second, since the feeling is already there?
Yes.
And is there any wanting to change that? Any wanting it to be different?
Yes.
Could you welcome the wanting it to be different?
Yes.
And is there any idea of overwhelm?
Hello. Yes. I don't like that either. I don't want to, I want to change that too. And yes, I'm taking it personally.
Can you hold on to that for a second?
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Yes.
And then as best you can, could you let go of that feeling of overwhelm?
Woo. Yes.
Could you let it go a little bit more?
Yes.
And some more?
Yes.
And how does it feel now?
A lot more settled and calm. Clutching in the chest is gone.
Could that be allowed to be?
Yes.
And could you welcome any remaining sense of overwhelm or disturbance or any sense of too much?
Yes. What's coming up is I'm blaming others for me not having enough time to get my shit done. Okay, now there's some embarrassment there.
And are you wanting to change that?
That's gone. Done.
What's there now?
Quiet. Sense of gratitude.
Could you allow that to expand?
Yes.
And could you allow that to include any remaining sense of other?
Yes.
Notice how that sense of other is already being welcomed.
Right.
Notice how everything else is already being welcomed here now.
Yes.
And could you also notice that which allows for that which is welcoming?
Yes.
And could you expand into or as that?
Yes.
And could you also include any remaining sense of other or otherness?
Yes.
And notice how this is welcomed as well already.
Yes.
How do you feel now, Bobby?
Woo. Bobby's not here. Grounded. Grateful, loving.
Okay. This is good for now.
Beautiful. Very grateful. Thank you, everybody, for being here.
Perfect. So, no hands. Maybe it's time for group release. I thought I already did it one, but
It's worth
okay.
it.
Oh, there's a hand.
I knew she'd do it.
I was asking for hands. So, Polly,
Uh,
can you speak
Hi,
up?
I,
Hi.
this is Sangeeta. I'm driving, so I didn't want to speak, but since nobody raised their hand, so I thought I should put in my 2 cents.
Oh, it's not Pauline, it's Sangeeta. Is that correct?
Yes.
Yes, I see that somewhere on the screen. Okay,
So
Sangeeta, how can I help you?
yes, the last person who spoke, I'm building up on that. I have this. When she said, dealing with all these people and not
Yes.
having time for. So in my work, I I get this, I literally feel like I'm being gaslighted, and it just, and I let go, but then I am at a, I don't know what to do, because some of the, I let go of, the resistance and the feeling of confusion. I think it's mostly confusion and a little bit of sadness for myself. And then I let go of that, and then I look at the question that request or whatever that's being made to me, and I don't know what to do. Like nothing comes to mind.
And
And
the problem with that is
that I'm supposed to respond because a request has been made of me.
Okay.
And I don't know what to say.
Okay.
And I really cannot respond with, I don't know what to say.
You could just wait or do something.
Yeah, I could wait, but some of these things are fast moving, and I really can't wait.
Okay. And did people, ask you to do something and you weren't capable of doing something?
It's not that. It's more like
Is it just a feeling that you should respond?
no, it's more like I have to respond. It's my obligation to respond. And but there is this a little bit of, why the hell should I do it, kind of, or you go figure it out, or why are you wasting my time? I mean, that all that comes up. And yeah.
Is there a sense of pressure on yourself?
Yeah.
Okay. Could you notice how the pressure is blocking everything?
Yes.
And could you also welcome all you wanting to change it and all you wanting to know or to understand or to get the answer, the proper solution, so to say?
Yeah. Yes.
And what's the now emotion? Is there some anger or sadness or something like that?
No, it is still, it's this, I don't know if it's the mind, it's something that says, I hate this situation. I want it to end, but I don't want it to end because then you will not have to face the situation.
Okay.
I don't understand that. And I kind of like gave up on that a while ago, but yeah.
Could you really allow yourself to hate the situation for a moment? And really want to understand it anyway?
Yeah. Yes.
And notice any wanting to change that.
Yes.
And is that coming from or bringing a wanting control, approval, security, separation, oneness?
Security.
Could you want security or insecurity as much as you do?
No, I don't want it.
Okay. Could you resist wanting it?
Yeah, I just don't know where that resistance is.
And is there any other wanting connected to that? Any wanting control, approval, or separation, oneness?
Yeah. Some wanting control as to know where this actually is.
And could you allow yourself to want to control as much as you want to?
Yes.
And then notice any sense that this is personal, that there is somebody who needs to control something.
Yes.
And just for now, just a little bit, could you let go wanting to control?
Yes.
And is there anything you could accept about the situation, since you were hating it so much?
Yeah, that's just the way it is at the moment.
And could you allow that to happen as well? Could you allow yourself to accept that just a little bit?
Yes. Yes.
And what is the simplest or most outrageous thing you could do right now in order to know or in order to present yourself in a different way in that situation? Is there something that comes to mind or a feeling that's holding you back?
Yes, I wish you hadn't asked me that. It's basically pointing the middle finger. Uh,
Okay. And is that coming from a wanting control, approval, security, separation, awareness, or bringing any of those?
comes from a point of being courageous. There's no wanting. It's more like
Is
a
there
just
anything
yeah.
between you and being courageous? Is there anything in a way to courage, to your own courage?
The self-doubt.
Okay. Could you self-doubt yourself as much as you do?
Yes.
And could you trust yourself as best as you can?
No.
And what wanting is attached to that? Is there wanting control, approval, security, separation, oneness? Any wanting to be separate from trusting yourself?
More like wanting to be separate from the fallout from my trusting myself.
And could you want that as much as you do?
Yes.
And then could you just let go a very tiny little bit of that wanting?
Yes.
And then could you just allow yourself to invite self-trust to show up? Trust in yourself. Could you invite that at least as a possibility?
Yes. Yes.
And then could you welcome any remaining not trusting yourself? Any sense of doubting yourself? Any sense of
Yeah.
distrust?
Yes.
And then could you just simply open to the possibility of trusting yourself? Of having faith in yourself and your abilities?
Yes.
Is there anything saying no to that in that moment?
It was very hard for me to say yes right now.
Mm-hmm.
Um,
Could you resist saying yes as much as you do?
yes.
Mm-hmm. And is there any wanting in the way? Is there a wanting control, approval, security, separation, oneness, or any kind of emotion or feeling
It's
or
it's
some
more of a
sensation?
it's a gripping feeling in my mid back, in the heart area in the back, but it's also a feeling of apathy and 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 sadness, I guess.
Yes, yes, that's low energy levels. So could you welcome that energy of apathy, that energy of sadness, which is already a bit higher than apathy?
Yes.
Could you allow yourself to be in touch with that?
Yeah,
It's
I'm
a
in touch with it.
sense,
I'm in touch with it 24/7.
okay. And is there any wanting to get rid of that?
Uh, yes.
And was there ever a time in 24/7 when it wasn't there?
No.
No? Are you sure
Yes.
that there never was a higher energy?
There is a one moment between the time when I wake up and
Uh-huh.
like a second after I wake up. When I
Mhm.
like wake up, it's clear, and then
Yes.
within a second, the clarity goes away.
Okay. Are you still resisting the lower energies of apathy and sadness?
No.
Or could you allow it to be here now? Could you allow it to come up a little bit?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. Apathy could feel like feeling too tired or too exhausted, or wanting to fall asleep, or not being good enough, not having enough.
The thing is, it works the other way. It that feeling doesn't let me sleep, doesn't let me rest. It says you're not good enough. You need to work harder.
Okay. And is there any wanting to change that? Any resistance to that?
Uh,
Any wanting to make sure you get enough sleep?
yes, there is in me. Yes, there is something that tells me if I rest, I'll feel better.
Mhm. And then could you notice the sense of sadness, the sense of the poor me?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And all you wanting to be better.
Yes.
And could you just simply open to higher energy?
Yes.
Weren't you releasing a little bit in the last couple of seconds or minutes?
Yeah, I am releasing, but it comes
Mhm.
right back. It like more comes up to block it.
All the releasing involves courage.
Yes.
So what if there's already courage?
There is courage.
Yes.
That's the one thing that that there is.
Mhm.
But I listen to Hale, and he says you will get to a point where your life will be effortless. And I feel that there is so much efforting by by um, by no one to
That's
keep
right.
this to keep this body mind here.
Yes. Is there a
And
belief that life is hard? That your life is hard?
no,
No?
life is life.
Okay. Or that life requires efforting?
Uh, no, it doesn't
No.
require efforting. It requires participation,
Mhm.
flowing with life.
And is there anything in the way between you and participating life?
Yes, this mind.
This mind?
Yeah.
What is it doing
Uh,
against life, against participation?
it it'll kick in, and it'll say you don't know what you're doing, and
So
whatever
what
it
if
is
you
that
don't
you're
need
doing.
to? Um, What if you don't need to know what you do?
Could you
Could
say
you
that
just,
again?
what if you don't need to know what to do?
Oh, the
What,
mind has a
what
problem
if
with
that
that.
is just a trap, a loop?
Yeah, that starts an argument with the mind. And the one thing that
Could
I
you,
have achieved in the that I have gotten to in these last few years is that I don't engage with the mind.
yes.
Uh, so I listen to it, and I'll say, that's a great idea. You're so fantastic. And I move on.
Good mind.
Uh, but any suggestion like that, like what would be a positive feedback loop, is resisted by the mind, and it wants a negative feedback loop.
But is there also any not trusting the mind?
It's more like the mind not trusting itself.
Okay. And which wanting is this coming from? Or what is attached to that? Which wanting? Is there wanting control, approval, security, separation, or oneness?
Control.
Mm-hmm. Could you want to control as much as you do? Or could there be as much wanting control as there is?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
I think that released a little bit.
And how does it feel now?
It released a little bit there.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think in the not engaging or allowing the mind to do whatever it wants to do, it has gotten more, I guess, it is in a phase of more wanting to control. And
Yes, it looks a little bit like you're restricting the mind.
no, I'm not restricting. It doesn't trust my feedback. Like,
Mm-hmm.
it's literally asking me, oh, was that right? And I say, yep,
Mm-hmm.
because I don't know any different either.
Mm-hmm.
And that's apparently not what it's looking for. It's looking for absolute certainty. that it was the right thing to do, and for that particular thing. And I mean, it's life. There is no certainty, right?
Could you just simply welcome your intuitive knowingness, the power that knows the way, that's coming right from the heart? That doesn't need to fight with the mind or debate with the mind,
Yes.
but which could just infuse the mind.
Yes, there was a release right there. I allowed the mind to have the power.
Yes, could you let go wanting the mind to be the master? Could you allow yourself to be the master instead? Could you allow the mind to just be the servant or to be a tool?
Yes.
And could you allow the power that knows the way to guide the mind, if it's required to be there?
Yes.
I think you may feel the difference
Yes.
if it's coming from the heart or not.
It made a difference.
Yes.
I will work on this a little more. Thank
Mhm.
you.
You're welcome. Are you feeling okay for now?
Yes, I'm feeling much better. Thank you.
Good, good. Perfect, Sangeeta. So now let's look to Polly.
Hi.
Hi.
That was perfect. The previous release, it hit on so much stuff that I'm going through. But I noticed that my energy is higher. So that's cool. I was feeling really exhausted. And when you said it was certain things, and I said, no, it's not that. It's not that. And then I realized it probably is some of that. So I'm feeling much less exhausted. I have the recurring thing with my shoulder. I know it's the mind keep telling me, it aches, and so I just need some help releasing and all of.
Okay. Is it telling you right now that it aches?
A moment ago it was. Right now it's not.
No, okay, then we don't go there probably. Is there a sensation in the shoulder right now?
The mind's playing tricks. No, there isn't. There was a second ago. Laughter
So
really helps.
what's the now feeling, Pauline? Is there something?
Yeah, I'm still feeling some sadness and a little low energy. Yeah.
Okay. Could you
Like,
allow yourself
okay, go ahead.
to be in touch with that low energy, with that sense of sadness or grief or whatever there is?
Okay.
Hmm. And notice all you wanting to do something with, about, or against this, even very subtle.
Yeah, there's a sense of why aren't I further along? I've been doing this.
Mhm.
Why not? Yeah.
Mhm. And is that coming from a wanting control, approval, security, separation, oneness, or bringing any of those?
Security.
Mhm. And could you want security as much as you do?
Yes.
Mhm. And notice any sense that's personal, that wanting security is about you or who you are.
Okay.
And then could you let go wanting security and Notice the security that's already here, already now instead.
Okay.
Now notice any remaining wanting security.
There's a weird feeling of pushing and not pushing, understanding, not understanding. Wow.
Could you just watch that? Be aware of it.
Okay. Yeah.
Not involving in any of those energies, just watch it.
Okay. I like that.
And what's beyond both? Beyond pushing and pulling?
A whole lot of shoulds.
Mm-hmm.
I should be able to take care of others, people that are around me, people that have infirmities, etc. I should be able to help them. Yeah.
And is that shoulding coming from a wanting control, approval, security, separation, oneness?
Wow, it's coming from approval. Yeah.
Could you let that wanting go as best as you can?
Yes.
Mm-hmm. And notice any sense that's personal. That there is someone who wants approval. And that is related to Pauline.
Yeah. It's
If
vague,
there,
but
it might be vague. It could be very, very subtle, very, just energy.
yeah.
It could even be the sense that it's no longer personal, that it's impersonal now.
Okay. Okay. Yeah, that feels better.
Hmm?
Wow, I'm coming into this really bright light space. It feels really,
Yes. Could you allow that to happen?
yeah, it feels good.
Mm-hmm. Could you just expand even more into that, or is that?
Yeah. Yeah, it feels good. Christoph, yeah, thank you.
Mm-hmm. Can I leave you there?
Yeah, that feels
Okay.
good. Thank you.
Perfect. Okay. So there's one more hand, Francis.
Hello.
Hello.
As so often happens on these calls, if I don't go first, by the time I raise my hand, I've released. But like you, Pauline, Sangeeta was that release was tremendous for me. And so what I was going to talk about was I have this perception of a problem,
Yes.
which I have that mean voice in my head that says, you shouldn't have this problem, you should have done this, you should have done that, and you should do whatever. And so I do not want to respond to that voice. In the past, I've tried to do what the voice said, thinking it was courageousness, but then it comes back with 10 other things I should do. And so I'm just from listening to the calls, I have a lot of wanting to change the voice. I really want to shut this voice up. This critical, disapproving, and I notice that I do it to my loved ones. A dear friend had a problem just over the last few days.
Yes.
And in my mind, I'm telling, well, she should have done this and she should have done that. But at least I've had enough awareness to not say those things. Because I used to tell people that, well, you should have done this and you should have done that. And now you need to do this. So now I only do it in my mind.
What is an advantage of shooting?
Yes. Lots of shooting.
What is it bringing? What is the advantage of shooting? There must be an advantage. Since the
Well,
interest
I think that it's the suffering that it causes that I love or something. Atoning for guilt. And if I suffer enough, then maybe I will have atoned for whatever sins I've suffering for.
And could you just be open to the possibility that you have suffered enough already?
Yes.
Yes.
Although so many others have suffered much more.
Is that an excuse for more suffering?
Yes.
Would you let go wanting to do that?
Yes.
Ah. How does it feel now? What's the now feeling, Francis? Is there any emotion?
I'm feeling some sense of curiosity and you know, I do, I have this experience often, and but it's like this. It's like, wow, what if all this is really true? I'll think that quite often when I'm releasing. Like I might have some serious resistance to it, but there's a part of me that is just so curious about what's possible.
Is there any wanting to know, any wanting to figure it out?
Yes.
Yes. And is that coming from a wanting control, approval, security, separation, oneness, or bringing any of those wantings?
Approval. And then
And could you want approval as much as you do?
Yes.
And then could you also give yourself some approval rather than wanting it?
Yes.
And then could you want approval as much as you do?
Yes.
And then could you give yourself some approval rather than wanting it?
Yes.
And notice where it's coming from. What's the source of the true source of approval, of acceptance?
This being
Mm-hmm.
just love.
And could that just be here?
Yes.
And then notice any remaining tendency to want to go back to the problem of shoulding, if there is.
Mm.
And then could you just allow that to release? Could you allow that to dissolve? Or could it just be dissolved for now?
Yes.
And then could you notice the true source of approval or acceptance? Of love?
Mm. Wow. Yes.
How does it feel now, Francis? What's the now feeling?
You
The
know,
now perception?
I'm considering there.
Mhm.
I don't know if it's wanting separateness or if I'm wanting oneness.
Mhm. Could you want to be one and separate as much as you do?
Okay. Okay.
Could you let go wanting to be separate and one as best as you can?
Yes.
And then could you notice that which is one?
Yes.
And could you just simply notice that you are that? That you are never a
Yes.
thought or a feeling or want. You are that which is aware of that. Is there anything in opposition to that? Any resistance?
No, but I'm thinking, I'm wanting to remember what you said to Sangeeta, is that her name? About the mind,
Being triggered?
about the servant. You said something about
Mhm.
the mind being the
Rather
servant.
rather than the mind being the master, it should be the servant.
Yes, yes,
It's the true servant. It is just a tool. It
yes,
should it is being triggered by intuition and even triggered by wanting and feelings, of course. As long as there are, that is what we need to release. And if we release those wantings and feelings, then it's only triggered by intuition, finally. Then you may get a picture of something and do it or have it or achieve it. Or you may have a thought, or you don't have any of that and you just have it spontaneously. It's happening by itself, that's nothing we can control. We cannot control if every solution comes in by thought. It can also just be spontaneously happening through the body-mind. But sometimes it comes in that way, presenting itself.
Oh,
If we want to make sure that it comes in as a thought, it's already wanting, trying to control that.
oh, you know what? That's really good. I think that, yes, there's some belief that it must come in, the answer must come in through a thought.
Yes. But what if another person is presenting you the answer? Or if you do it spontaneously without thinking, and then you
Yes.
just realize, oh, that's it.
Yes.
So could you just be open to infinite or unlimited possibilities of getting the solution?
Yes. Yes.
And maybe sometimes it can happen by talking. You feel the urge to talk with another person about something, and all of a sudden there comes the solution by just talking with this person. So that can also happen. Maybe the person has another idea for you, or it's bringing something in that is missed on your end. So
Something
and
that I felt immediately freed when we had the conversation. I am searching my mind for a solution and letting go of that I don't know, and just letting, yes, that I'm gonna just let go of searching my mind for solutions.
yes,
It's not.
yes,
Yeah.
you just ask the source directly. Could you
Oh,
ask?
you know what? Thank you, and I'm going to go on mute because my husband's in here making noise. Thank you.
Okay.
I'm gonna stay on the call.
Thank you. Okay, we have more people. There's Steve. Hi, Steve.
Coming up, there's a lot of resistance
Some resistance. A lot of resistance to what?
to everything.
Okay. Oops, I have to be careful. So could you resist everything as you do? Could you really go for the resistance?
Yes.
And that's right. If we experience some resistance, we will resist everything.
It's all over the place, everywhere I look.
Let's have a resistance party. However that may look like. And is there any wanting to change that? Any wanting to change the resistance, or any wanting to hold on to the resistance, or get rid of the resistance, or resisting the resistance?
Yeah, a few of the above.
Or resisting the resistance, resistance. Even more.
Yes.
And what's the underlying wanting? Is there any wanting control, approval, security, separation, oneness?
I think it's mostly wanting control.
Mhm.
It's wanting to control everything. But a
And
little
could
bit
you
of wanting security as well.
want to control and want security as much as you do? As
Yes.
much as the desire likes to be?
Yes.
And could you also notice any sense that's personal, that you are the one who wants that, or that you are the one who's resisting?
Yes.
And then could you let that wanting go as best as you can, just a little bit?
Yes.
And then could you welcome acceptance, the flow instead? Or just the possibility of acceptance, the flow?
Yes.
And could you welcome any remaining resistance? Any inner no?
Yes.
And could you let it inner no go just for now? Could you allow it to release?
Yes.
And then could you just simply welcome the possibility of acceptance, the flow?
Yes.
And then could you welcome any remaining resistance or inner no, or saying no to what is? Any opposition? And could you just simply welcome the possibility of acceptance, the flow instead?
Yes.
Even for the resistance, it can be included.
Yes.
Resistance is not separate from the flow. It may appear that way, but it's not.
Mm.
Since you can express it or release it, it's part of the flow. So how do you feel now? What's the now feeling?
I feel like it's dissipated quite a lot.
And what's between you and letting go even more resistance? What's provoking you to hold on to resistance?
I think resistance itself.
Okay. Could you resist resistance?
Yes.
Or could you say no to resistance? It's not suitable. Maybe it looks disgusting, or we shouldn't resist.
I think what I'm sensing is a feeling of too much to do, a little bit of overwhelm.
Yes, could you be in touch with that sense of overwhelm?
Yes.
And notice any wanting to do anything with, about, or against the overwhelm.
Yes.
And is there any underlying wanting for security or control or any other?
Yes, there's some sense of wanting security.
Mhm. And could you want security as much as you do?
Yes.
And then could you notice the security that's here now already? And notice that any of that is personal about you or who you are, or appears to be personal about you or who you are.
Yes.
And then could you just stretch beyond that
Yes.
and welcome the possibility of acceptance, the flow instead?
Yes.
What would be there if you would have completely forgotten about any kind of resistance?
As you said, flow. That's what you have when you don't have resistance.
And is there any inner note to that? Anything in the way to that right now?
No.
Mhm. Could you just be open to acceptance, the flow?
Yes.
And just remember that resistance is part of the flow. It's the game.
That's quite a
I
thought.
don't want you to recreate right now. Just remind me for later. Okay. How does it feel now, Steve? Are you okay for now?
Yes, I am. Yes, quite okay.
Perfect.
Yeah, thank you.
You're welcome. So there's one more hand. Matthew, can you speak up?
Hey there.
Hi there.
Thank you for taking the call.
Yes.
Okay, so I guess I just need a little bit of help because I'm just having I've been having something go on for a long time for the last couple of years, and I've been kind of clawing my way out of it in the sense, and a lot of it's been seen through, but then now it seems that I'm still I've I'm limiting I feel very limited by the tendencies of it, and it all kind of stems from I think it really just stems fear of dying, honestly. Um
Yes, that takes everything in place. That's the main energy that takes all our wanting in place, the fear of dying.
okay.
That's the
And
core.
then I just yeah, go ahead.
But how do you feel right now? Is there any fear of dying right now? Are you sensing something like that?
Well, it kind of like it just it feels like it comes with it, honestly. It feels like there's this belief that I've seen through many times and or just a few times, and then um now it's kind of coming up in a way that's kind of too much for me to handle by myself, so I kind of wanted help with that. And it just seems like there's like a panic with the belief or the energy itself, so I keep kind of doing that, and then it feels like I've been staying away from it so much that it's just kind of gone like wildfire, honestly, like all around my life. And then now I feel really, now I'm just confined by it in the sense of it. Like really, actually, like I don't do a lot because I feel like I don't want to have it come up. And then now I'm kind of at the point where I'm like, okay, like I need to have this come up because I need to start living my life, and this is basically just taking up all of my conscious activity of trying to deal with this. So like,
Could you just simply welcome that issue or that story as an issue right now? And whatever it brings up inside, all the pictures, sounds, sensations, feelings, memories, thoughts, beliefs, judgments, expectations, all the sense of shame, blame, and guilt, and any other kind of emotion.
yeah, as best I can.
And could you allow the mind to fire? You know, if the mind wants to put something on it, or throw something into that, could you just let it?
That's the part I can't let. It's just that.
And then notice all you wanting to do something with, about, or against this. Any wanting to release it, to be done with it, to end it all, to get rid of it, or to come back to it in order to release it.
What was the last part?
Or you wanting to come back to it in order to release it. Sometimes we need to come back to issues in order to release them, which is recreating it a little bit.
Huh. Okay.
And also notice all your sense of it being personal, all your identification with it. That this is about me or who I am, or somehow defines who or what I am. Or even the sense of separation, that I can't be my true self without releasing that. And then could you just be simply open to the possibility that you are already beyond the story, that you are already beyond the issue, that you are that which is containing it. That you are that which is allowing for its appearance and for its fade out. And how does it feel now, Matthew? Is there any stuckness anywhere?
Somewhat. I know this is gonna sound really silly, but it's just I guess when we were talking, then I've been having an issue with, this is part of the whole thing, is like the fridge. When I came home, it was very, I know this is a story, I guess, about what was, but it's still been kind of going on. So, and I guess that's still about what was. It still brings up a lot, and I don't want to. It was me trying to stay away from the tendency, and then I wouldn't like go up or down the stairs when the fridge was on, or I wouldn't do things just because whatever was gonna come up and tell me like, that was gonna come up, or like there was an expectation there, and that's what I've been kind of releasing on, and then I kind of like get through it, and then I still like don't take the leap to do stuff. Because I don't feel comfortable while it's coming up. I was kind of noticing earlier that there's also like a belief that I can't release this, and I have before, and I have here and there, but not in a quick manner.
What if
I
that
guess.
belief isn't true? But what if you need to be open to the possibility that it takes as long as it does to release that? Maybe we are not done with it today, but could you just be open to the possibility that you're done with it at some point? You just put away layers.
Probability,
right?
I guess, for the.
You release layers all the time, and maybe sometimes you recreate some layers because you still believe in that. That's fine too. And then you go for the next release and you put layers away and layers away. And maybe at some point you have poked enough holes into the whole story, into the whole emotion, or into the whole issue, it may just be released finally.
Yeah. I mean, I buy that I could be done with this. That's why I keep going. So like, but at the
Yeah.
same time, I don't.
Yes, but be open to the possibility it takes as long as it does.
No,
And
I
it's
just I don't. I'm so. It's very cynical. It's just like I buy into it, and then I feel ashamed and guilty for buying into it, and I blame myself,
maybe
and then
that's
it
the
kind of
next thing to
continues, and
release
then
them.
I
Then you
see that
release the
like
next
as stuff
shame,
comes
the
up and
blame, the
releases.
guilt. Okay.
But I guess like I kind of just like I would like to feel free to do things around when the fridge is on. I know that's like a stupid, silly thing, but um, and I feel kind of
What is holding you back right now from doing something?
I guess myself that I'm like not brave enough to just do it. And then there was some other thoughts that came up, but
Mhm. Is there any wanting control, approval, security, separation, oneness attached to that?
yeah.
And the other thing I'd like to remind you of is don't go too much into the thought. If you have thoughts about the issue, seek the feeling and try to release the feeling.
Yeah, I know. That's actually been the shift in the last month or so, is that it used to be really trying to release the feeling, and now it's not as much as the feeling, but as as much as the thought, but now it's more just whatever's felt. So I'm attempting to, and then there's a lot of trying and control, and it seems like the mind comes up, has different things coming up at the same time, and I don't believe that I can release them all at once or allow them to kind of
Maybe you don't need to
unblock or
do
unhinge
anything about,
themselves. It
maybe
feels
you
like
don't
I
need
need to
to do
be
anything
aware of
about.
one thing to see through it, and then
Mhm.
it'll be seen through. But then if something else comes up, then that's what's coming up. But then the other thing's not being seen through, I guess. So there was a lot of control on that because it felt like that was real. And then I've seen through that a couple times. Uh, um, but yeah, I don't,
Yes.
I think, I don't,
You can
it
just
seems,
step back and watch it happening rather than engaging in it, rather than trying to release it. Just step back and watch it. If I'm not this, what am I? Or is this the totality of who or what I am? Is this content the totality of who or what I am, or is there more? What if the answer isn't in thought or feeling to that?
I'm still kind of finding my way in that. So
Of course you do.
I
That's
feel
for
like
sure.
there's a couple times when I have, and
Mhm.
it is very nice and it spreads and everything is like
Yes.
okay and it's relaxing. And then most of the time it's been like really tight, and then I'm like, oh, this is like I can relax, and then this is just an unharmful feeling that's or something that's felt that's not going to harm me, and then that makes it better and easier to deal with, and then it seems to go. But like a lot of the trying and efforting that comes up with it to try to release it, was like, it's gonna harm me, and like something's gonna happen to me. Like that's why I think I led with the whole like it's gonna kill me kind of thing, which obviously it didn't, but it was very
And the other thing I just want you to remember is ask yourself if the issue comes up again, am I wanting to control or change the stuckness? Could I let go wanting to control or change the stuckness of being stuck
Okay.
in that?
Yeah.
That may have an effect as well.
Okay, cool. Well, I thank you for staying late to help me out.
Okay, Matthew, are you okay for now? Can I leave you that way?
Yeah, I don't want to go too long, so thank you.
Perfect. So I think we already went over with the time. I give back now to Stephen.
Yes, Christoph. But what is time?
Concept?
Thank you so much for hosting. Well, if anybody wants to unmute, you're welcome to, and we can thank Christoph and say goodbye. Oh, I should also mention there won't be a call next week because I am going to be busy with, election work here in the United States. Fun and joy. So, Christoph, thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you,
Thank you
everybody.
so much,
Thank-
Christoph, and
Thank
everybody.
you. Thank you
Everybody.
so much. Thank you,
Thank
Christoph.
you.
Have a speedy recovery. Thank you.
Thank you.
Take care.